Hello again, gamers. Welcome back for another episode of the Board Game Captain. I'm the Captain.
And I'm Alex.
And today we're reviewing and talking about Hexentafl. This is probably going to be the last of the Nestor Games Fun to Take Away line, the little games and bags that we ever review, because the whole line has been discontinued.
Another effect of the pandemic.
Yeah, a little bit of the current tragedy. So, the designer of this game, though, was Kevin Kane, who also designed Nexus that we reviewed a while back. And he wanted specifically, he paid to have a copy sent to us to review. And we asked him if he'd still like us to review it, even though it's not in print anymore. And he said yes, he would like us still to review it. And the cool thing is, you can very easily proxy this game if you have a copy of Nexus. Because I don't know if you noticed, but the board is basically the same size.
It's the same thing, yeah.
So you just need some chess pieces to use pawns and a king from two different colors, and you can easily proxy this. But
idea.
This is how it came. So yeah, if you have a copy of Nexus, and I'll put a link to our review and tutorial of Nexus up top. If you haven't checked that out, you definitely should. That game is really awesome.
It's a good game.
Really good game. So this is the way the board came, though, in the Nestor Games version. And then you got a bag of a bunch of little, basically like mini checkers of white and black.
Oh.
And
Hi, dog. Okay, all right.
And then there is one king for the black. It is like a cone in this set.
Yep.
And then there's the rules. Now, the rules weren't bad. There was one little ambiguity. I had a little trouble understanding specifically how the capture worked. I kind of figured it out, but I messaged the designer just to double check, and he cleared it up for me. And it was not that big a deal, and it's the sort of thing that could easily be fixed if he were to do another edition himself at some point, which obviously, because he self-publishes Nexus.
Yeah, he does that all on his own. Right?
Yeah, so he could totally self-publish this. Totally, too.
3D prints it, right?
Yeah, and he could totally.
This isn't that bad. Yeah.
He could do this as like an add-on to Nexus, again, because the board is the same size as one of the Nexus boards. But, do you have anything to talk about with this? I mean, it's a nice neoprene mousepad board.
No, it's what you'd come to expect from Nestor's takeaway games.
Which unfortunately are no more.
Well, everybody knows how much we like these
Yeah.
this style of games that Nestor puts out, and very sad to see them go.
Yeah.
We took them camping. We
did take him camping, and it was really cool.
It's perfect.
It was. These are perfect for taking camping.
But anyway, this game itself is fine. Yeah.
We're going to head over. We're going to show you how this game plays. We're going to play a full game. Then we're going to come back, and we're going to talk about how this game feels, and we're going to rate it and review it. Okay, so here we are set up to play a game of Hexentafl. I'll be playing the attackers, which are the white pieces that are around the edges of the board.
And I'll be playing the defenders, the black pieces, which are defending the king in the center of the board on the throne.
Now, generally speaking, in order to capture a piece, you must get to opposite sides of the piece to capture it and then take it off the board. If the piece, though, is in a corner space of the board here, you can do it from the opposite corner spaces here, even though they're not directly opposite the piece. That will count as a capture. However, while the king is on the throne, the red space in the middle of the board, you can only capture him by getting a triangle of pieces like, help me out over there, like so, around the king to capture him. But once he is off the throne, he is capturable just like any other piece by just getting opposite sides of him in any other space. If the black player gets their king to any of the corner spaces, these corner dark spaces around the points of the hexagon, the black player wins. If the white player captures the black king, the white player wins. Each piece can move any number of spaces in a straight line uninterrupted, sort of like a rook in chess, except of course we were playing on hexagonal pieces as opposed to squares. Generally speaking, during our first game in a series, we always have the defender go first, as it recommends the defender goes first most of the time, though either side could go first. So usually after our first game, when we switch sides, whoever lost will go first. So Alex, since you're playing defender, will you start us off? I'm going to move right there.
Alrighty. Bring this guy down here.
I'm going to move up here and capture this piece there.
Bring him in here and take this guy.
Ooh, nice move. Well done. Well played.
Thank you.
I'm going to pull this piece off here to play a little bit more defensively and get out of the line of fire of some of your pieces there. I'm going to throw a little caution to the wind and just capture another piece here, even though that endangers my own piece. And Alex took it.
I want that.
You're playing quite aggressively today.
You got to pick a way and go with it when you're on this one.
I'm going to move up there. Oh, I didn't even see that. The problem is that you're running out of pieces.
Right, you can't sacrifice too many in this.
Especially when you're the defensive player, the black player, because you don't have that many pieces. Captured. Here. I'm going to move here and capture that piece there.
There.
I think I might have you at this. At this point, it's looking like I'm doing pretty well. Then you had to go and do something like that.
Just when you think you're winning.
Yeah. I still think I'm winning.
No, I know you really are.
Oh, you did it. You can do that. You can block that. So now, moving into the center of his pieces will not capture my piece, and in point of fact, buys me an extra turn because he has to move out and move back in to capture me.
This is correct.
There we go. Intriguing. You've almost cleared a path there. The question is now, can you make it before I'm able to capture that king? Well played. Well played, sir. Well played.
Yeah, I'm not sure it helped. It helped a little bit, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure it's going to delay the inevitable here.
Capture.
Yep.
That's the thing. You're down to only two pieces. It's going to be really tough to get the king in there without me stopping you. Where to go?
Right.
Yeah. For a minute there, I thought you had me.
No, then, this was the only thing that saved you, was moving him all the way across.
Yeah.
That's the only move you had left.
A little shifting of tactics, eh? Game.
Yeah, not much I could do.
Good game, sir.
Real good.
And that was how you play a game of Hexentafl, and that is an example of an attacker win. The white pieces have captured black's king. Now again, if Alex had managed to get his king into that corner space, he would have won and met his requirements. So now we're going to head back over to the table. We're going to talk about how this game plays and how it feels, and we're going to rate it and review it. Welcome back. So that was how you play a game of Hexentafl. Mm-hmm. So obviously it's a modern variant of Hexentafl.
Hexentafl, yes.
Or Tablut, or any of the other names in the Hexentafl family. There's a whole bunch of them. The big difference is the hexagonal board versus squares.
Right. And it makes a difference, for sure.
It makes them more maneuverable.
Yeah, right.
Which is interesting. It definitely changes up the game. And it makes it feel, it does definitely, even though, like, if you're familiar with the classic Viking board game of Hexentafl, this feels familiar, but it also feels modern.
Yes. Well, I didn't play Hexentafl all that much, but it's not difficult to understand how this changes it much, because the movement, you can go entirely across the board, but it kind of restricts the movement in, you can't go in direct lines. You have to kind of move yourself on angles. So
because of the whole hexagonal shape.
Hexagonal shape. So it definitely lends itself to a little more strategy and a little more interesting movement.
So now Hexentafl basically plays like this, but on a square board with square spaces. The general thing here is with these family of games, the Hexentafl games, they are one of the older asymmetrical abstract strategy games out there. You've got one player playing a totally different game than the other player.
Right.
One player is trying to get their king to the corner. The other player is trying to capture the king before they do so.
Right.
And that can be difficult. Both can be difficult. I would say the actual goal of black getting to the corner is easier than white capturing the king, but then white has more pieces to counterbalance that.
Right.
Would you agree to that statement?
Yeah, I think that's true. Yeah.
It's interesting because we were talking about this a minute ago, and you were talking about how the interesting thing about black is
that you could play basically the entire game and win with like two pieces, a king and one other piece, and you're competitive.
Yes. So, and when we were towards the end of the game, you almost won, and you only had 3 pieces left.
Right.
So, I still had a lot of pieces. I had like 7 or 8 pieces on the board. You had 3, and I was like, "Oh my god, I think you got me." Until I saw a move where I was able to stop you.
Right.
But you almost won. With 3, you were losing. You had only 3 pieces left, and then you still almost won. And that's the thing, is white has to be careful because black can sneak up. Like white, on the other hand, you have to have at least 6 pieces to stay competitive in this game, because if you don't have at least 1 piece to block each of the corner spaces, black can always just move their king back to the center space and be like, "Oh, which space can you not protect?"
Right.
And go in there.
Yeah.
So white has to be a little more careful with losing their pieces, because if they lose 7 pieces, they're done.
Right. But
they're dead.
Since black only has 6 pieces plus the king, you can't trade 1 for 1.
No.
If you're black. So
definitely not.
So it's 2 completely different strategies when you're playing, depending on which side you're playing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's I think they're fairly evenly balanced. I think you could be better at one than the other.
Oh, definitely.
So I think I have a preference for defending.
Okay.
But yeah, it's cool. I love that the asymmetrical part of it.
I agree that I do think it's actually very evenly balanced. I think doing it on the hexagon space board and the hexagon shape board actually feels to me like it's more well balanced than the classic game of Hexentafl. It's one of the things I think the extra maneuverability somehow helped to balance it out more. I'm not really even sure why. It just feels like when I play both sides, I feel like I have the same chances of winning.
Sure. Yeah, I can believe that. Yeah.
And I quite like this game. I'm very good at it, but yeah, I don't really have a preference. I'll play either side, and I'm generally pretty competitive regardless of whether I'm attacker or defender.
And it's really fast to play. You can get bogged down a little bit in brain burning stuff, but you're looking at 15 minutes, maybe 20, 30 at most.
I was trying to see if they put a time. I don't think he didn't put a time on here. Yeah, this is a quick game. It's usually like 15, 20 minutes. Very fast.
When we first opened it, I think we knocked out 6 games in a row. Just bam, 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 bam. Just trading sides.
We were just addicted.
Because it
took me about a full game to really figure the strategy out.
Yeah, and then I wanted to keep comparing defense and offense, white to black, and just like I kept like, no, do it again. Do it again.
One more time. One more time.
Because it was like, it seemed, the more iterations, the more interesting it got, and because you're playing two completely different games, it doesn't get old very fast. That's for sure.
No, it's because you should probably every time alternate back and forth. Okay, we'll swap sides.
Right.
And that's really important for this game. It's a lot of fun. I really like this. I actually the version of Hexentafl I was normally a fan of was Tabloot. I like how Tabloot plays. But I like Hexentafl better. There you have it. So I'm going to give Hexentafl 8 out of 10 stars. I thoroughly enjoyed this. This is a really good abstract strategy game. Like it a lot. Like both sides. Very much.
Yeah. I'm going to give it a 7.5. But yeah, right up there. It's a perfect game for taking out to the bar, to the pub. And it's even
when those things are open again.
When they're open. Or if you're doubly vaccinated and you've waited your 2 weeks. PSA.
I got mine.
Yeah, we got mine. And it's even more, I think, accessible than even some of the other Nestor games because it's very, very simple rules and very easy to learn, and then you can play it basically for the rest of your life.
It is definitely a 5 minutes to learn, lifetime to master game, and it is very accessible, very easy to learn and teach. So there you have it. We quite like Hexentafl. Let us know in the comments down below what you think. Let us know if you've been able to try this out, either kind of like print and playing or if you have a copy of Nexus, if you've been able to try it out with Nexus. Let us know what you think. And if you enjoyed this review and tutorial for an abstract strategy game, be sure to give it a like. Share it on all forms of social media. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Board Game Captain. That's Captain spelled with a K on YouTube. And until next time, game on.